Hey everyone, Mac is back. Today I want to talk about the commanders for the Siege of Winterfell and kind of what they do and how they react, and just kind of a brief overview. I'm not going to get into super detail with it, but just a little bit of advice, a little bit of just factual information, and just maybe you can glean some things from my just from this kind of informational and overview of what's going on, so you can maybe get a better grasp on which commanders you want to put together and which ones that you kind of want to leave alone. So let's get to it. So one of the first things that everybody probably knows is you get three commanders in each deployment. 3 deployments, 3 commanders, so a total of 9 commanders that you can put in there together. And because of the nature of the deployments and the way that the commander's skills work, using pure setups or close to pure setups is probably the best way to maximize your troops' bonuses, and that will give you the more mobility and range during the event, which is needed. So if you have all infantry, all spear, all cav, or all bow troops plus all the commanders, I think that's probably the best way to be able to do that. And that's just like a kind of a general type of thing. There are other ways of doing it as well, because there are total attack commanders which you can put with anybody. So those are more for the people who have purchased some of the bigger commanders, the more expensive ones to do that. So that quite makes sense for them to be able to do that too. Just to kind of go over that too. So here we are with the commander list, the ones that you're able to use, and I'm going to go over certain specific groups of commanders. So kind of the big 2 commanders, the healers, the AOE damage commanders, the single damage dealers, the buffers, and the debuffers. So we're going to go through all those just very briefly. So the first 2 are Jon Snow and Cersei Lannister, the 2 that who are the big ones, and the reason they are is because their skills are really good. As you can see here, for Cersei's, doing 1,000 damage, troop damage to the target for a max of 3 targets, so not just a single target, but more than 1 target, which is really good. Plus the 75% buffs that they have, 75% buff damage, and then each attack also has 70% chance of restoring 100 rage, and rage is that meter basically where their skill gets popped or propped, or however you want to say. But so it's really good. And Jon Snow, it does something simple. Well, Jon Snow is more of a support type thing with grants and troops, reducing damage and skill damage. So he's like that buff debuff kind of thing, and also grants increasing counterattack damage by 150% for 4 seconds. So if you're countering somebody, you get more damage to them as well. Now, something to note is that hers is called the Wildfire Siege, and his is called Lord Commander's Will. Those are there even at gray quality. If they're at their highest, they're not going to go any higher. That's just the way they're going to be at gray quality. Now which is fantastic for someone who just has them at gray like I do, but it's also not so good, because if you look down, you see that the total defense, attack, and health are only at 6.25 when they would be at about 125%. So there is a big difference when it comes to that. Now the second group are the healers, and the healers include Annie and Sansa. Get back to where Sansa was. There she is there. And I also believe that Egbert and Jean will heal as well. Let me help her over. Oops. So that's one thing, you can't use your mouse through scrolling through here. Yes. Deal skill damage equivalent to 540%, and the target has 75% to fall into a fear of war, making them unable to use normal attacks or counter. Also increases your cavalry's defense and health by 150%. So she does not heal in that aspect. Just looking at that right there, unable to use normal attacks and counters for. So she has that, which is nice. But I think Egbert over here does, though. Yes, there you go. He has increasing healing received by 80% for the last 4 seconds. So that is good as well. But the best one is Annie, because Annie has this what's called AOE, which is the area of effect. So she's doing an area of effect, which it's not a direct damage or direct heal just to her group, or to her unit. It's healing up to 5 units here, you know, so if you're all close bunched together with your alliance, it's going to help heal. If someone else in your alliance or other alliance mates have Annie as well, then there's more healing going on in there, so you're going to last longer in the battle, you're more troops fighting, and it'll be really, really good for you know, to win, or to just to beat them up in that respect. So but Egbert's a single one. He does it just for himself, just like Sansa does. So if I scroll down here to Sansa, she's just doing this healing for herself, her unit. So that's why it's not as powerful as Annie is. So if you have Annie, you're probably gonna put her in your spear formation, most likely, because she's quite fantastic when it comes to you know, kind of what she does. The next group I want to talk about is what we just had previously talked with Annie is the area of attack damage, the AOE damage. So the commanders that do that are Layla, Rob, Chris, Kevin, Soren, and Lysandra. Obviously along with, well, actually, Annie doesn't do the damage, she does the healing. These are the ones that are going to do the actual damage itself. And as you can see with Layla here, after 3 seconds creates one of those AOEs, damage regions in the target location lasting 4 seconds, dealing skill damage equivalent of 240% of the troop's attack to enemies in range, max of 5 targets. So she can actually do damage to 5 different targets. So if you have her, she's cavalry, so she'd be really good in a cavalry mix. And if you had her gold, you'd get even more damage as well. So she's definitely worth having in there. And especially if you have her, you know, up to gold quality. The one thing I didn't mention before, but I'll mention now as well, is that as you can see, she brings 15,000 troops to battle, and that's the only buff or only upgrade that you get when you awaken a commander. So she does 15,000 there, where if I had somebody else who has more stars, it's 21,000, so it'd be a little bit more there as well. So that's just something else to kind of keep in mind when you're creating, because you don't get the army buffs in this event. You have to you only get your base army buff plus your how many troops they bring to battle. So if you want to try to get those awakened ones in there that are gold quality, because they're probably going to be the best, but you know, you can play around with it, and there's going to be some that sometimes you're not going to want to do that. And for instance, maybe you have like Jon Snow or Cersei get a little higher quality than I do, and you want them in there as well. But these AOEs are really nice. You have to just find out figure out what they do. And so for instance, for like, I'll go to Rob here, and you can see that his skills damage 600% of troops in conical area, max is 3 targets. So he's doing it in 3 targets. So that's where it doesn't say AOE, but that's essentially what it is. It's giving it more than 1 target. So that's something that's really, really nice as well. Another one there is Kevin. And Kevin, after 3 seconds, creates that area, lasts 4 seconds, and again, max of 5 targets. So he's doing more. He's getting 5 targets compared to Rob. So he's probably a little better. Something you want to look at as well. I mean, he's giving the 75% total health and total attack, so he's more for, you could put him in for pretty much anybody, because you're getting that 75% total health, total attack. But you can also see that his rage cost is 1,000, whereas cooldown is 12 seconds. Now if we go to Rob, his rage is 912 seconds. So he'll pop off his ability faster than Kevin will. So there's a little bit of a kind of a give and take when it comes to these AOE type commanders. Next, I'm going to talk about the single damage dealers. So basically, all they do is, if you have one of them on there, and a lot of these are basically like that. So the list is Seg, Haley, Miranda, Arya, Sheila, Kravros, Hector, Russell, Jamie, Julian, Sonara, Obeen, Jean, Meryl, Barrett, Arslan, Feast, and Robert. So the majority of these are single damage dealers, meaning that if you have Seg in there, he's going to attack one other unit. He's not going to attack it. He's not going to do the AOE. He's not going to get it two or three different damage dealers. He's going to go one at a time, and that's basically going to be it. So they have their effectiveness though. I mean, they're still pretty good. I mean, he has total attack, total defense 75%. He's doing that 360% attack, reduces the target's defense and health by 150. Then if you get to his weakened and fearful, you're is increasing the target's attack taken by 30, and then counter damage by 50%, reduce the counter damage taken by 50%. So they have their their place in there as well. So There are some really nice commanders in here that are just single damage, and they're actually pretty good too. Moving on, the next one is the debuffers. So there are certain debuffers as well, and some of those include, again, we go back to Segi's debuffing. You know, like I said there, we saw that increase the target's attack damage by 30%, but the counterattack damage taken by 50%. So there are multiple ways to have these, and again, the rage cost of 1,000, and the cooldown is 12 seconds, which seems to be the standard here. If you keep looking, 12 seconds, 12 seconds, 12 seconds. So when you get these standard cooldown 12 seconds, did the big check that real quick? Did the big commanders here have 12 seconds? Yep, they do too, and they're 800. And even look at Snow's. He's got 650 rage. That's all he needs to get to his one to get to his. So he's a lot less than a lot of these other ones. Like, you know, see 800 there. Well, there's 500 for Jamie. You know, 650, 600. So I guess some of the other ones, it just really depends on the commander, obviously, at that point. But, you know, looking at Hector, 800. So, you know, these 800, these thousands, they cost a lot to be able to do that. But they are worth it when it comes to, you know, when they're actually pops off. But some of the buffers as well, you know, Sheila, Andrea, Jamie, Julian, Sansa, Jean, Meryl, Egbert, Arslan, Melisandre, and Cersei. So there are some other good ones there as well. The Oberyn and Cersei can add to your rage and will increase the amount of time your deployment uses a skill as well. So that's really nice to have too. So if you want to add Oberyn in there for his ability to be able to, you know, get the rage off, you know, right there it says that increases rage of your troops by 150. So now you're going to be popping off that, you know, those, you're going to be popping off those, and then hit, you know, even quicker. And as you can see, his rage cost is only 300, and his cooldown is 9 seconds, which is obviously the less time to get it off, and you know, the cooldown is less. So he's going to be getting this off a lot many more times, especially for a bow formation. I think he would be very, very good in there because he just keeps popping off over and over and over, and he's dealing a skill gem at 720% to the target. So I think he's really, really good when it comes to you know, those bow commanders for sure, and I think that would be something you got to look into as well. So the thing you want to think about is which 3 commanders you want to put together when it comes to your cavalry, your infantry, and your spear. The one thing that you got to consider is you want your best commanders up front, because you want them to pop off their skills the fastest, and the most. So, for instance, Annie's really good. That's something you'd want to do. Probably hook that up with Julian, because Julian has a really good one. He actually debuffs yourself, but his damage is doing his kind of stupid damage at 1440%. So yeah, he's really, really good. And plus, he's doing, as you can see, infantry, cav, and spear 150% across the board there too. So you could play around, make him a little bit of a mixed. You could actually, you know, want to go two troop types with him, or 3. You could put, you know, 3 in there. Say you put him in, and then put a infantry and a cavalry in there as well, and he can buff all 3 troop types, and the other 2 could buff the other ones. So just something to consider as well. But there's just so many different ways to be able to do this, to combine them, and as they create more, the game releases more and more into the available commanders here. It'll be nice to you know, to put some combinations together and kind of experiment with it about what you want to do. So I hope this gives you a little bit of a understanding of you know, the commanders and their abilities and how the kind of the game functions. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, send them let them in the comments, and I will answer them when I get to them. But until next time, Mac out.